What if tonight, while you rest, a quiet visitor from another star drifts silently through our skies? Not a spaceship, not a signal, but something far older, more patient, and infinitely more gentle. A comet, born in a cradle of light around a distant sun, wandering across galaxies for billions of years until by chance it arrived at the doorstep of our solar system. Astronomers have named it Three-Eye Atlas, but names barely matter here. What matters is the story of a frozen traveler carrying secrets from another world, a guest who will never return, yet who leaves us a reminder that the universe is more connected than we could ever imagine. As we close our eyes and drift into dreams, let us follow this cosmic wanderer, tracing its path through darkness and silence, listening to the tale it whispers as it brushes past our star before vanishing back into infinity. Imagine the night sky as a vast ocean, its waves made not of water but of darkness and scattered light. Most of what drifts here is familiar. Stars we've charted, planets we've named, comets and asteroids born in the same nursery as Earth itself. But every now and then something enters our sky that does not belong, something not bound by the same family ties of the sun. That's what happened when astronomers, peering into the endless night, noticed a faint streak of light behaving differently. It was not circling our star the way local comets do. It was cutting across space on a path that betrayed its foreign origin. This was Three-Eye Atlas, only the third interstellar object ever seen by human eyes. Picture it, a lonely speck of ice and rock, drifting for unimaginable distances, unclaimed by any sun, carrying no allegiance to any world. For ages it wandered in silence, unseen, untouched, almost forgotten by the galaxy itself. And yet, against all odds, its path bent just enough to bring it into our view. There is something profoundly humbling about that. Out of all the infinite directions it could have traveled, out of the billions of stars and empty gulfs it could have crossed, this comet passed through the tiny corner of space we call home. Its discovery wasn't marked by fireworks or breaking news. It was noticed by quiet people in quiet rooms, staring through telescopes in the stillness of night. They weren't looking for interstellar visitors. They were simply keeping watch, as astronomers have done for centuries, guardians of the sky, catching small flickers of light against the vast backdrop of black. One evening, a signal appeared that didn't match the ordinary catalogue of known comets. At first, it was a curiosity. Then calculations confirmed the truth. The speed and trajectory meant it came from far beyond the solar system. It was not one of ours. It was from the stars. Think about the coincidence. Earth has been here for over 4 billion years, circling the sun like clockwork. And only now in our fleeting lifetime, a comet from another star has wandered close enough for us to glimpse it. The odds are so small it feels like destiny, almost as if the cosmos wanted to remind us, you are not alone. Other systems, other suns, other worlds, they are real, and their fingerprints can reach us in the form of icy wanderers like Three-Eye Atlas. This is the quiet arrival, not a crash, not a spectacle, just a subtle entrance, a stranger stepping into our skies with the gentlest of footsteps. Now imagine being one of the first people on Earth to notice it. You're sitting in a dark observatory, coffee cooling at your side, screens flickering with rows of data. Night after night, the sky offers you thousands of familiar patterns. Stars that have been steady for lifetimes, comets that behave exactly as expected. And then something strange appears, a faint signal, barely more than a whisper of light. You almost doubt it. Could it be an error? A smudge on the lens? You double-check, and it's still there, moving against the stars in a way that makes your heart quicken. For most of us, the sky is something we glance at on our way home. For these astronomers, it's a living diary, each night a new entry. So when 3i Attilas revealed itself, it wasn't just another object, it was a story unfolding. At first, there was confusion. Its orbit calculations didn't fit anything familiar. The numbers suggested it wasn't bound to the sun at all. That realization spread slowly like ripples in a pond. Astronomers exchanged emails, ran models, checked and rechecked. And then the certainty grew. This was interstellar. It came from beyond. Picture the human reaction in that moment. A mix of disbelief, wonder, and the quiet thrill of witnessing something profoundly rare. Imagine being one of a handful of people alive who can say, "I was among the first to see a visitor from another star." It's not fame. It's not fortune. It's something subtler, a sense of deep connection with the universe. For centuries, humanity has dreamed of contact with the beyond. In this case, contact came not through signals or spaceships, but through a lump of ice carrying whispers from another world. The name Atlas comes from the telescope survey that spotted it, but doesn't it also feel poetic? Atlas, the titan who held up the heavens. The comet itself seems to carry a piece of the heavens in its frozen body. By the time the wider scientific community confirmed it, astronomers across the globe were turning their instruments toward it. Observatories in mountains, deserts, and frozen lands all shifted their gaze. In their stillness, in their shared focus, you can almost feel a global heartbeat. One species together peering out into the cosmic dark at a messenger from afar. And yet, despite the magnitude of this event, most people on Earth slept through it unaware. While a few pairs of eyes traced its glow across black skies, billions of others were busy with their lives. That contrast is almost comforting. The universe doesn't wait for applause. It doesn't need to be noticed to keep moving. But for those who did notice, for those first eyes that saw it, the comet was more than light. It was a bridge between stars, proof that distances we think of as infinite can still be crossed, not by spacecraft, not by intention, but by the quiet persistence of time itself. Think for a moment about the vastness of the galaxy. Hundreds of billions of stars, each with its own gravity, its own family of planets, moons, and comets. Most of the time, those comets remain loyal to their home systems, circling endlessly around their parent stars. To escape is almost impossible. Gravity holds them tight, like a parent holding a child's hand. For a comet to break free, something extraordinary must happen. A violent gravitational tug from a passing giant planet, a collision with another wandering body, or the slow, patient nudge of forces over millions of years, until one day, finally, it slips away. Only then can a comet be launched into the deep void between the stars. That's why interstellar visitors like 3i Atlas are so rare. The odds are stacked against them. Most comets never leave home. Imagine if Earth's comets like Halley or Hale-Bopp were to suddenly disappear into the blackness, leaving their orbits forever. It would be like watching a lifelong friend vanish into the crowd, never to return. And yet, out of countless trillions of icy bodies, some do break free. They are flung outward, traveling alone for billions of years. Their journeys are almost endless. Time itself seems to stretch with them. That's why when one drifts across our solar system, astronomers celebrate. It's like finding a message in a bottle on an infinite ocean. Before 3i Atlas, there was Oumuamua, the first interstellar object ever confirmed. It shocked the scientific community in 2017. Its strange shape, its tumbling motion, its odd acceleration, it was unlike anything we'd seen. For centuries, we suspected interstellar objects must exist, but only recently did we catch one in our nets of observation. Then came Borisov, the second, a true comet with a bright tail, clearly foreign. And now 3i Atlas, each one is like a rare bird landing on your windowsill. You may never see it again, but you will remember the glimpse for a lifetime. For you and me lying beneath the stars, The rarity adds weight to the moment. Think about how many generations of humans lived and died without ever seeing such a thing. Ancient astronomers with no telescopes gazed at the skies and dreamed of visitors from other stars, but it is only now, in our small span of years, that these wanderers have chosen to cross our sight. This makes 3I Atlas more than a comet. It becomes a reminder of cosmic timing. Out of billions of years, out of billions of possibilities, it arrived while we were here to witness it. Now close your eyes and imagine the life of this comet. Picture it not as an object, but as a traveler, beginning its story in a star system far, far away. Perhaps it was born near a young sun in a disk of swirling dust and gas, just as our Earth once was. Tiny grains of ice and rock clumped together, forming a frozen body. For eons it circled its home star, a quiet member of its cosmic family. But then something happened. A giant planet may have swung too close, its gravity flinging the comet outward. Or perhaps two stars passed near each other, disturbing their comet clouds. Whatever the cause, this little traveler was torn from home and sent adrift into the cold gulf between suns. That was billions of years ago, while civilizations on Earth were still unborn, while even Earth itself was just forming from dust. 3I Atlas was already on its way. Imagine the loneliness of such a journey. No sunlight to warm it, no planet to call home. Just endless darkness and the faint glow of stars far away. It wandered without purpose, a grain of frozen time drifting across eternity. Yet in its silence, it carried a story, an ancient memory locked in its ice. As it traveled, it may have passed near other stars. Each time, gravity gave it a slight tug, altering its path, guiding it closer and closer to us. For billions of years, no one noticed. No eye, no mind, no telescope could trace its voyage. Only the cosmos itself kept record in the slow curve of its orbit. Until now. Now it has entered our solar system, brushing near our sun like a pilgrim stopping briefly at a shrine before continuing the endless march into the unknown. Think of the patience that implies. For us, a journey of a few years feels long. For 3I Atlas, each leg of its voyage lasted longer than all human history combined. It has no hurry, no destination. It simply moves silently across the canvas of the galaxy. To me, that feels almost like a meditation, a lesson in stillness. If this comet can wander so far, so quietly, perhaps it reminds us that not all journeys need answers. Some are simply about moving, existing, drifting through the dark with grace. Now that it is here, near our sun, it briefly awakens. Frozen ices sublimate, glowing tails stream behind it, and suddenly this silent wanderer shines bright enough for human eyes. It is as if, after a billion years of quiet, it finally speaks. Just once, just for a short moment, before falling silent again as it departs. This is the long journey of 3I Atlas. Not dramatic, not violent, just steady, patient, eternal. Think of 3I Atlas not only as a comet, but as a time capsule. Locked inside its icy shell are fragments of a world we will never see, a world around another star. Comets are like freezers of the cosmos. Their ices preserve the chemistry of the place where they were born, unchanged for billions of years. If you could scoop a piece of 3I Atlas into your hands, you might be holding molecules older than the Earth itself. Tiny grains of dust could predate our sun, carrying the fingerprints of distant explosions, the ashes of stars long dead. Astronomers believe comets hold clues about origins. Our own comets, circling the sun, may have delivered water and organic molecules to early Earth. Perhaps they were couriers of life's building blocks. If that is true, then what might 3I Atlas carry? Could its dust contain hints of alien chemistry, molecules shaped under a sun unlike ours? The thought is staggering that drifting above us is a snowball of secrets from an entirely different chapter of the universe's story. When you look at a comet, the glowing tail seems alive, but it is only sunlight breathing life into frozen relics. I like to imagine each particle of dust that streams away is a message being released. Messages written in the universal language of atoms, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, the very same ingredients that built us. This is why scientists chase comets with spacecraft, trying to capture their essence. It's not just curiosity, it's the hope of reading the universe's earliest diary entries written in frozen ink. For sleep, there's something soothing in knowing this visitor carries no danger, only memories. It's not here to destroy but to share, to pass briefly through our neighborhood, leaving behind the quiet reminder that life and matter are connected across unimaginable distances. A frozen time capsule drifting past our small blue world, whispering of places we will never reach, but which nonetheless have touched us. Every comet is made of dust. But the dust of 3I Atlas is not ordinary. It is stardust older than our solar system, older than humanity, older even than the mountains that rise on Earth. Imagine grains of mineral, no larger than a speck of smoke, formed in the fiery atmospheres of ancient stars. When those stars died, they scattered their ashes into space. Some of that material clumped together, froze, and became comets. So when we see the tail of a comet glowing in the night sky, what we're really seeing is ancient stardust set free, catching sunlight for the first time in billions of years. Now picture 3I Atlas shedding such dust as it brushes past the sun. Those particles will scatter, some eventually entering our own solar winds, maybe even brushing past Earth's atmosphere as invisible meteors. That means, in a poetic sense, we may be touched by the dust of another star system, a gentle exchange across light years between strangers in the cosmos. Doesn't that feel intimate? The kind of intimacy that doesn't need words, only presence. For astronomers, stardust is like a sacred text. When captured in laboratories, those grains can reveal isotopes and elements that don't match our sun's pattern. They carry the signature of other stars' chemistry, so in every fragment of dust lies a cosmic accent, a clue to its birthplace. In 3I Atlas, the whispers of stardust may tell us of suns we will never orbit, of planets we will never see. Yet the story still reaches us, and for us, lying in bed, letting our minds drift, there is comfort in knowing that every breath we take already contains atoms that were once inside stars. The iron in our blood, the calcium in our bones, the carbon in our cells, they are all stardust. Comets like 3I Atlas are simply reminders, gentle nudges saying, you too are made of this. You too are part of this endless cycle. So when you hear the phrase whispers of stardust, think of it not as poetry, but as truth. The universe whispers through particles, through dust, carried across space. Tonight, as you drift into sleep, you are already breathing the universe's ancient language. You are already connected to the stars, and perhaps, in dreams, you too will drift like 3I Atlas, leaving behind a trail of quiet light across the night. When most of us picture space, we imagine it as black and silent, sprinkled with faint white stars. But when you watch a comet awaken, the dark sky becomes a canvas of color. As 3I Atlas drifts closer to the sun, frozen gases begin to evaporate, releasing glowing clouds around its nucleus. Sunlight strikes those gases and makes them shimmer. Some shine blue, others green, sometimes even faintly red. To the human eye, it looks like a ghostly lantern glowing in the dark. The green hue often comes from diatomic carbon, simple molecules released from the comet's ices. When sunlight energizes them, they emit a green glow, as if the comet carries a light of its own. The blue tails come from ionized gases pushed outward by the solar wind. Together, these colors weave a soft ribbon across the night sky, trailing behind like the train of a gown. Imagine lying on a hillside in silence, watching such a glow drift across the heavens. The world beneath you is still, but above, the visitor writes in color. For astronomers, those colors are more than beauty. They are signatures. Each tells of chemistry, of temperatures, of the ancient recipes locked inside the comet. To scientists, green means carbon, blue means ions, yellow, white means dust. But to the dreamer, the artist, or the sleeper beneath the stars, those colors are whispers of wonder. They remind us that the universe, even in its coldness, creates moments of pure art. If 3i Atlas becomes bright enough, there's a chance ordinary people might see it from Earth. Imagine someone stepping out into their backyard, unaware, and lifting their eyes to find a faint green glow with a silver-blue tail stretched across the horizon. They may not know its name, its chemistry, its interstellar origin, yet they would still feel the quiet shock of awe. That is the gift of comets. They connect science with emotion, data with wonder, color with silence. And so while we drift towards sleep, we might hold that image in our minds. A dark sky painted not just with stars, but with a glowing trail of blue and green, moving slowly across the heavens like a brushstroke from another world. Every comet has a turning point in its journey. The moment it draws closest to the sun. For 3i Atlas, this is the moment of awakening. After billions of years in deep freeze, it finally feels warmth again. At first, just a whisper, the faintest trickle of sublimated gas seeping into space. But as it drifts closer, the ice cracks and bursts, streams of dust and vapor explode outward, and suddenly the comet blossoms into a glowing halo called a coma. It is as though the sun, with gentle hands, coaxes the traveler back to life. This is the dance, the sun pulling, the comet resisting, the two locked in a fleeting embrace. From Earth it looks like a glowing head, trailing ribbons of light. The solar wind pushes the ion tail away, always pointing opposite the sun, while gravity curves the dust tail in a sweeping arc. If you could watch in slow motion, it would resemble silk unraveling in water, endlessly reshaped by invisible currents. The sun doesn't destroy the comet, it reveals it. Without sunlight, the comet would remain invisible, a silent rock of ice. With sunlight, it shines. The encounter is brief, lasting only weeks or months. Then, as 3i Atlas passes perihelion, the closest point to the sun, it begins to retreat. The glow fades, the tails shorten, and the visitor returns to the quiet of deep space. But for that short moment, it is radiant, like a candle lit in darkness. For humanity, watching this dance is a reminder of our dependence on the sun. The same warmth that brings a comet to life sustains every tree, every river, every breath on Earth. The sun awakens not only travelers of ice, but us as well. And in that connection, the comet becomes a mirror. As it brightens near the sun, so do we briefly when touched by light and warmth. Picture yourself watching the comet's passage. As the sun rises, the glow fades in daylight, but you know it's still out there, shimmering, dancing with the same star that rises over your own home. You and 3i Atlas are both warmed by the same flame. Two very different travelers connected by one radiant star. When 3i Atlas was confirmed as interstellar, scientists couldn't help but compare it to the first known visitor from another star, Oumuamua. That name, given in Hawaiian, means a messenger from afar arriving first. And truly, in 2017, Oumuamua shocked the world. Unlike any comet or asteroid we had ever seen, it looked elongated, like a cigar, or perhaps a flattened shard. It tumbled end over end as it flew, reflecting sunlight in flickers. Stranger still, it didn't behave like an ordinary rock. Its speed and slight acceleration suggested forces we didn't fully understand. Some whispered about alien probes, while others searched for natural explanations, outgassing, ice jets, or even exotic hydrogen ice. Now imagine scientists in 2019 and 2020 seeing 3I Atlas, at last another interstellar traveler. But this one felt different. Unlike Oumuamua, 3I Atlas looked like a classic comet, icy nucleus, glowing coma, long tail. If Oumuamua was the mysterious guest who slipped in and out without saying much, 3I Atlas was the friendly visitor who smiled, waved, and told us exactly who they were. But the contrast goes deeper. Oumuamua left us puzzled, almost unsettled. It offered no tail, no glow, only questions. With 3I Atlas there was relief. Here was proof that interstellar visitors could be comets too. That our galaxy is not only filled with strange, silent shards, but also with familiar snowballs carrying water, carbon, and dust. To scientists, this mattered deeply. It confirmed a theory that star systems across the galaxy produce comets, just like ours. Planetary nurseries everywhere must fling icy bodies outward, some escaping into the void, destined to wander forever. And now one had wandered into our sky. For you lying in bed, perhaps the contrast is poetic. Some visitors in life are like Oumuamua. They arrive, leave an impression, then vanish without explanation. Others, like 3I Atlas, reveal themselves, glowing openly, teaching you something gentle before they depart. Both kinds matter. Both remind us that encounters, however brief, can shift our understanding. Astronomers often say comets are like cosmic fossils. If so, then Oumuamua was a fossil we couldn't identify, a strange bone out of place, hinting at unknown worlds. 3I Atlas was the fossil we could hold up and say, "Ah, this looks familiar." It carried dust, gas, and ice like the comets of our own Oort cloud. It showed us that the building blocks of planets are shared across star systems. In this way, the two interstellar objects complement each other: mystery and familiarity, silence and song, shadow and light. And perhaps one day others will come. Some strange and alien, others bright and cometic. Each will add another brushstroke to the painting of our understanding. But in this moment, we can be grateful. 3I Atlas balanced the equation. It told us we are not alone in producing such icy wanderers. Our sun is not unique. Across the galaxy, other suns too cast forth these messengers. And sometimes, just sometimes, they drift far enough to cross our sight. One of the first questions people ask when they hear about a comet is simple: can I see it? For 3I Atlas, the answer is complicated. Some comets become dazzling, visible even in daylight, their tails spanning half the sky. Others remain faint, only for telescopes. Visibility depends on many things: size, brightness, proximity to Earth, and how much gas and dust they release as they near the Sun. For 3I Atlas, astronomers hoped it might become bright enough for naked eye viewing. Even a faint glow visible to ordinary people would be extraordinary. To step outside and know you were looking at a traveler from another star. Imagine the scene. A quiet evening, crickets chirping, air cooling after sunset. You tilt your head back and notice a soft smudge of green light above the horizon. At first, you think it's your imagination, but no, it's real. A glow with a tail trailing into darkness. A stranger from the galaxy, visible without instruments. That thought alone can send chills. Even if faint, binoculars or small backyard telescopes might catch it. Picture children with simple sky maps, parents guiding them, pointing out the faint streak and whispering, "That's not from here, that's from another star." Suddenly, a family backyard becomes an observatory, and wonder becomes shared. For centuries, comets stirred fear. Ancient people saw them as omens, harbingers of war, famine, or change. Today, we see them as scientific treasures, but the emotional power remains. To look at a comet is to look at something transient. Unlike stars which shine nightly, a comet comes and goes. It's here one season, gone the next. To see one is to participate in a fleeting moment of history. With 3i Atlas, that feeling is magnified, because not only is it fleeting, it is unique. Once it leaves, it will never return. Unlike Halley's comet, which comes back every 76 years, 3i Atlas will vanish forever into the dark. If you see it, you will be one of the only humans across all time to have done so. That rarity makes even the faintest glimpse precious. Whether through a telescope in a desert observatory or from a city rooftop with binoculars, the act of looking becomes ceremonial. You are acknowledging a guest, however distant, however brief. Even clouds cannot take away that knowledge. Just knowing it is up there, gliding past, glowing softly, adds something magical to the night. And if it cannot be seen with the naked eye, then perhaps that too is part of the lesson. Not everything extraordinary needs to be visible to be real. Sometimes the most wondrous things pass unseen, touching us only through knowledge, imagination, and the quiet assurance that the universe is always larger, richer, and more mysterious than we think. So, will we see it? Perhaps only faintly through glass and lenses. But whether or not your eyes catch its glow, your mind already sees it. You've traced its story, followed its path, felt its presence. And in the end, isn't that what vision truly is? Sometimes, when a comet drifts across the sky, the first thing we feel is not wonder, but a kind of quiet shrinking. The sky seems so enormous and we so small. Imagine 3i Atlas, an icy fragment from a star system billions of years away, gliding silently into our solar system. For billions of years it wandered, unobserved, unnoticed. And only now, in this thin slice of time, humans with telescopes happen to see it. We might spend our days worrying about small troubles, deadlines, arguments, errands, but in the presence of such a traveler, those troubles dissolve into perspective. The comet does not hurry, it does not judge, it does not even notice us. To it, Earth is just another tiny rock in its long, endless path. That might sound lonely at first, but listen closely, there is comfort in it. Because if we are small, then our problems are smaller still. The universe does not measure us by the weight of our burdens, but by the wonder we carry. To gaze up at 3i Atlas is to be reminded that we live in a cosmic ocean far greater than ourselves. Consider this. Earth is only one planet circling an ordinary star in a single galaxy among billions. Yet within this immensity, you exist, you breathe, you think. You wonder about comets and stars. That alone is extraordinary. The comet shows us both our fragility and our significance. Fragile because we are tiny. Significant because we are capable of seeing, feeling, and asking what it means. As children, many of us stood beneath the stars and felt awe, that deep stirring that comes with recognizing our smallness. Adulthood often numbs that sense. But every now and then, something like 3i Atlas enters our story and reawakens it. We remember that humility is not weakness, it is awareness. To be small in a vast universe is not sad, it is miraculous. It means we are part of something so grand that it stretches beyond our comprehension. So when you think of 3i Atlas, think of yourself too. You drifting through life, sometimes feeling lost. But just as the comet has value, carrying ancient dust, whispering secrets of creation, so do you. Your smallness does not diminish you. It gives your existence texture. It places you within the great mosaic of the cosmos, where even a grain of stardust can shine, Now imagine what it has been like for 3i Atlas during its journey. Not a few decades, not even thousands of years, but billions. Drifting in silence through a darkness so profound it makes even the loneliest places on Earth feel crowded. Out there, between the stars, there is no sound, no winds, no oceans, no voices, just vacuum, emptiness, and the faint hum of radiation that whispers the afterglow of the Big Bang. For most of its life, 3i Atlas has known nothing but that silence. To us, silence can feel unsettling. We fill our days with noise, music, chatter, the hum of machines, because silence forces us to listen inward. But in space, silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. Every grain of dust, every photon of light, every drifting comet is part of a grand stillness that has existed since time began. 3i Atlas embodies that, a frozen traveler with no words, no signals, no destination. Yet in its silence, it speaks volumes. When astronomers study it, they are listening to silence in their own way. The faint glow of its coma, the curve of its orbit, the whispers of starlight reflected from its dust, all are forms of communication. Not language as we know it, but a dialogue written in physics and light. Silence here does not mean absence, it means subtlety. And subtlety requires patience to hear. Perhaps that is why such stories make good companions for sleep. As you drift toward rest, your own world quiets down. The noise of the day fades, replaced by softer rhythms, breath, heartbeat, the faint hum of your room. You, too, enter a kind of deep space where silence allows thoughts to stretch. In that silence, you can imagine yourself drifting alongside the comet, moving weightlessly across an ocean of stars. The silence of deep space is not lonely when you look at it this way, it is comforting, because in silence nothing chases you, time slows, the universe doesn't demand, doesn't rush, it simply allows you to be. And 3i Atlas, in its endless drifting, shows us the art of being, of existing without hurry, without noise, simply carrying its story through the quiet. So tonight, as you fall asleep, let that silence wrap around you. Imagine the hush of the universe, the stillness between galaxies, the long, patient drifting of an interstellar comet. And in that silence, know this: you are part of it too. The quiet of deep space and the quiet of your own rest are the same silence. Infinite, gentle, timeless. Every traveler has a home, even if they never return. For 3i Atlas, the question that lingers is, where did it begin? Astronomers have debated its birthplace since the moment it was confirmed to be interstellar, because once you know its path, you know it did not belong here. It was thrown outward, ejected from another star's nursery, but which one? That is the mystery. Some theories suggest it may have come from a region like our Oort cloud, the distant shell of icy bodies surrounding a star system. In our solar system, the Oort cloud extends nearly a light year from the Sun. If another star has a similar cloud, then gravity, perhaps from a passing star or a migrating planet, could have nudged one of its icy bodies free. That tiny push, magnified over millions of years, could have been enough to launch it into interstellar exile. Another theory is more dramatic. Perhaps 3i Atlas was born in a star system undergoing chaos, two suns pulling at each other in a binary orbit, planets migrating, comets being flung like stones in a sling. Imagine such a system, stars blazing, planets colliding, gravity tearing at the edges. In that violent ballet, a small comet could be ripped from its cradle and cast out into the void. Some astronomers even speculate that 3i Atlas might come from a system long gone, its parent star already burned out, collapsed into a white dwarf, or exploded as a supernova. If so, then this comet is a relic of a vanished world, a survivor carrying dust older than any living star around it. Think about that. A piece of matter older than the system we live in, drifting into our presence like a ghost. Of course, the truth may never be known. The galaxy is vast, and retracing the comet's path is nearly impossible. Stellar motions, gravitational influences, and billions of years of drift blur the trail. Still, astronomers try. They run simulations, comparing the comet's incoming trajectory with star catalogues, searching for potential points of origin. So far, no match is certain. And maybe that uncertainty is part of its charm. Three-Eye Atlas remains a mystery guest, one whose home is unknown, one whose story is whispered rather than told. But for us, lying under the night sky, maybe the specifics don't matter. Whether it came from a bright binary star or the ashes of a dead sun, its presence speaks louder than its birthplace. It says, "I am proof that there are other worlds, other systems, other beginnings." It carries the quiet assurance that the galaxy is alive with motion, and sometimes those distant lives brush gently against our own. When scientists study comets like Three-Eye Atlas, they are not only studying the object itself, they are peering into the lives of stars. Comets are fragments of planetary birth, the leftover pieces from when stars form and worlds take shape. By examining their composition, we learn what materials a star system had at its beginning. And in that way, comets become storytellers, carrying tales from suns we will never see. Our sun once had its own nursery of gas and dust, spinning into planets, moons, asteroids, and comets. Three-Eye Atlas tells us that this process is not unique. Somewhere far away, another star underwent the same drama. Dust collapsed, ice clumped, gravity sculpted. And from that nursery came a comet, one among trillions destined for exile. Its frozen chemistry, water, carbon compounds, silicates, echoes the chemistry we know here. This is profound. It means the ingredients of life are not confined to Earth or even our solar system. They are woven into the fabric of the galaxy itself. Think about what that implies. If comets across the galaxy share similar recipes, then the seeds of life may be everywhere. Perhaps other planets circling other suns were watered by comets just like ours. Perhaps other skies host oceans, rivers, even beings who look up and wonder about comets from foreign stars. When we study Three-Eye Atlas, we are not only studying a comet, we are listening for confirmation of our cosmic kinship. And stars themselves leave fingerprints in these icy bodies. The isotopes in the dust can reveal whether the comet formed near a hot, young star or a cooler one. They can tell us whether the star was rich in carbon or if it carried heavier elements forged in earlier generations of stars. In this way, a comet is not just an icy traveler, it is a sample return mission from another sun, delivered without our effort, drifting right to our doorstep. The lesson is clear: stars are not solitary. They give rise to families, to fragments, to comets that may one day leave home and wander. And in wandering, they remind us that the galaxy is not divided but shared. Three-Eye Atlas is proof that the story of one star can reach another. That the birth of worlds in one system can leave traces in the skies of another. For you lying still in the dark, this truth can be a lullaby. The light you see in the stars overhead is already ancient. The comet you imagine is older still, and all of it, the dust, the stars, the comets, even your body, is made of the same material. Stars teach us through their children, their fragments, their icy emissaries. Three-Eye Atlas is one such teacher, and its lesson is simple but immense. Creation is everywhere. Life's ingredients are everywhere. You are not separate from the stars. You are their echo, their continuation, their living memory. For as long as humans have watched the skies, comets have carried meaning. Before telescopes, before modern science, comets appeared suddenly. Fiery strangers streaking across the heavens, vanishing just as quickly. To ancient eyes, they were omens. Some cultures feared them, believing they foretold wars or plagues. Others saw them as divine messengers, signs from the gods. Imagine standing in a medieval village looking up at a sky unpolluted by city lights and seeing a comet as bright as a torch. No wonder it inspired awe and trembling. The records of history are filled with comet sightings. Chinese astronomers wrote about them thousands of years ago, carefully noting their tails and positions. In Europe, Halley's Comet was painted in tapestries associated with kings and battles. To the Maya, comets were linked with cycles of time and cosmic renewal, and across many cultures they were bridges between worlds, signals that the heavens and earth were connected. Today we no longer see them as omens of doom, we see them as icy archives, carriers of cosmic memory, but that does not diminish their power. When 3i Atlas entered our skies, it joined this long lineage of celestial visitors. It became part of the same story told by Halley, by Hale-Bopp, by countless others. Except it carried something even rarer. It did not come from our sun's family. It came from another star. Imagine if ancient people had seen this one. What stories would they have told? Would they have believed a god from another realm had crossed the heavens? Would they have seen it as a sign that the universe beyond their known stars was alive? Perhaps. And in a way, they would have been right. Because when 3i Atlas glowed, it truly was a message, not from our gods, but from the galaxy itself. Think about that continuity. Thousands of years ago, farmers looked up and feared comets. Today, scientists look up and study them. And yet beneath both fear and science lies the same feeling, awe. Awe at the sudden brightness in the sky. Awe at the reminder that we live under a vast dome of mystery. Awe that can humble a king, inspire a poet, or soothe a sleeper beneath the stars. So 3i Atlas carries not only its own story, but also our story, the human story of gazing up, generation after generation, wondering what comets mean. Its arrival reminds us that we are part of a tradition older than any one culture, the tradition of wonder. When we call 3i Atlas a visitor, we imply it carries more than ice and dust. It carries meaning. Some comets remind us of endings, harbingers of doom in ancient tales. But this one feels different. 3i Atlas is not a warning. It is a messenger of connection. Think about what its presence tells us. Across light years of emptiness, across billions of years of wandering, matter from another star system now shares our sky. For a brief moment, the universe stitched two corners together, ours and its. That's connection in the deepest sense. The comet is proof that our solar system is not sealed off, that we are not isolated, that we are part of a cosmic web where even the smallest fragment can travel, can touch, can bridge distances we thought uncrossable. Scientists may study isotopes, orbits, and outgassing, but beyond the data lies symbolism. This comet whispers, "The galaxy is alive, you are not alone." Its dust, older than Earth, mingles with sunlight that warms your face. Its glow is powered by the same star that gives you life. And its journey, vast and timeless, intersects with your own fleeting lifetime. That intersection is no accident, it is a gift. Perhaps that is why stories like this matter for sleep. As you close your eyes, you might feel isolated, alone in your room, in your worries, in your mind. But 3i Atlas reminds you that nothing drifts alone forever. Even the loneliest traveler can find connection, can pass through another's sky, can be noticed. And in noticing, we share, we connect. Think of it this way. The atoms in your body were once in stars, and so were the atoms in this comet. You and 3i Atlas are already related cousins in stardust. Its visit is not intrusion, but reunion. A quiet hello across the gulf of time. And when it leaves, as all comets do, It does not break the connection. Its dust will linger. Its story will linger. And the awareness it brought that we are woven into a vast, shared universe will remain. That is the gift of Three-Eye Atlas, not spectacle, not fear, but connection. Connection between stars, between matter, between you and the cosmos itself. Every comet's story in our sky ends with departure. For Three-Eye Atlas, this departure carries even more weight because it is final. It will not return in 70 years like Halley, nor in centuries like others. Once it leaves, it will be gone forever, vanishing back into the infinite dark. That knowledge makes every glimpse of it more precious, like the last words of a traveler before they disappear over the horizon. Imagine watching it fade. In the beginning, it glows brightly, tail stretched wide, coma shimmering as it dances near the sun. But slowly, as weeks pass, it grows fainter. Its brightness diminishes, its tails shorten. Through telescopes, it shrinks to a blur. Through binoculars, it becomes harder to find. Eventually, even the most powerful observatories lose it to the black. And just like that, a visitor that crossed light years slips away, leaving nothing but memory. But a goodbye is not an ending. In the galaxy, nothing is truly lost. The dust it shed near the sun will linger, mingling with the solar wind, perhaps even drifting toward Earth as microscopic meteors. Those grains may burn up in our skies, flashing briefly as shooting stars. Think of that. Tiny pieces of another star system falling through our atmosphere, glowing for an instant before vanishing. For anyone watching, it will just look like another meteor. But if they knew, if they could understand, they would realize they were seeing a farewell spark from Three-Eye Atlas. A goodbye gift written in stardust. In a way, this departure mirrors our own lives. We too pass through, briefly visible, leaving behind trails of memory before vanishing into the unknown. The comet reminds us that impermanence does not erase meaning. Even short encounters can matter. Even a fleeting light can inspire awe. Three-Eye Atlas will not return, but it has already touched us. It has already connected two star systems, its home and ours, with a single arc of flight. That is enough. So when you think of its long goodbye, don't feel sadness, feel gratitude. Gratitude that you live in an age where interstellar visitors can be seen, studied, remembered. Gratitude that you exist at a time when the galaxy has chosen to whisper through a comet. And gratitude that just as the comet leaves, you too can carry its story forward. Its light fades, but its meaning remains. And now, as we reach the end of this story, imagine yourself drifting alongside Three-Eye Atlas. There is no sound here, no urgency, only stars stretching in every direction, silent and eternal. The comet glides forward and you drift with it, weightless, your thoughts floating like dust. The sun is behind you, Earth is far away, and ahead lies only the vast unknown. But instead of fear, you feel peace, because in this silence, you recognize connection. You realize that the comet's journey is not separate from your own. You too have traveled through days, through years, through trials and joys. You too carry fragments of your past, like the comet carries frozen dust. And you too are a visitor, passing briefly through this world, leaving trails of light for others to see. The universe does not separate you from the comet, from the stars, from the dust. It folds all of it together into one great fabric, woven from atoms and time. Close your eyes and feel that fabric. Every breath you take is starlight recycled. Every heartbeat echoes the rhythm of galaxies expanding. You are not small in this moment. You are vast because you belong to the same infinity that carries Three-Eye Atlas. The comet's long journey is your journey. Its silence is your silence. Its departure is your reminder. Nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. As sleep begins to gather around you, imagine the comet's trail extending across the night. Not bright, not overwhelming, but soft, like a ribbon of green and blue winding through the dark. Follow it in your mind. Let it lead you past the stars, past the sun, into a place where time slows and worries dissolve. There you drift. Not alone, but part of everything. Not forgotten, but eternal. Three-Eye Atlas came as a gentle visitor, a messenger from another star. And now it continues its voyage into the unknown. But its gift remains, the reminder that connection exists across distances, that beauty exists even in silence, and that wonder is always waiting if we choose to look. As you surrender to rest, let that gift settle into you. Sleep, like the comet, is a journey into mystery. And when you awaken, the story will still be there, quiet, infinite, starlit. Every visitor brings a gift, and Three-Eye Atlas is no exception. Its gift is not material, no gold, no treasure, but something far more enduring: perspective. By simply existing, by passing through our skies, it reminds us of truths we often forget, that we are part of a galaxy much larger than our daily routines, that our world, vibrant and noisy, is but one small corner of an endless ocean, and that beauty can appear without announcement, without fanfare, simply drifting quietly into our awareness. Scientists gain data, spectral lines, orbit models, chemical analyses, but ordinary people gain something softer, harder to measure. Awe. Awe is the spark that changes how we live. A moment beneath the stars can shift the heart more than volumes of facts. If even one child standing in a backyard with wide eyes sees a faint streak of Three-Eye Atlas and decides to dream bigger, then the comet has changed the future. Its gift is inspiration. And its gift does not end there. By showing us that comets wander between stars, it tells us that matter itself is shared. We are not isolated worlds, but participants in a cosmic exchange. Dust from other stars can reach us, just as our comets may one day drift into another sky. In this way, the comet teaches generosity. To give without knowing who receives, to share without expectation. It has shared its dust, its glow, its mystery, and in doing so it has already given us more than we could give it in return. So what is the gift to you personally lying in bed tonight? Perhaps it is the permission to feel small without fear. To let go of worries, knowing they are lighter than dust on a comet's tail. Or perhaps it is the reassurance that connection exists, even when unseen. The comet's gift is different for each of us. For some, it's scientific discovery. For others, it's poetic wonder. For you, it might be rest, the ability to surrender to sleep, comforted by the knowledge that the universe is vast, gentle, and always giving. Even as we say goodbye, Three-Eye Atlas continues. It does not stop for us. It does not linger for applause. It simply resumes its wandering, moving out of our solar system back into the cold corridors of interstellar space. There, it will travel for billions more years, perhaps passing near other suns, perhaps seen by other beings, if they too look up with curious eyes. Imagine that possibility. One day, in a faraway system, another civilization might detect it. They too might wonder about its origin. And without knowing, they will be connected to us, just as we are now connected to them through this comet's flight. In that sense, the journey never ends. A comet is more than ice and rock. It is a thread in the fabric of the galaxy, weaving stars and civilizations together through chance encounters. Each star system it passes becomes part of its story, and each story becomes part of the galaxy's collective memory. Three-Eye Atlas is not lost when it leaves us. It is simply moving to its next chapter. For you, the endless journey is also a metaphor. Life does not end with one moment, one goodbye, one chapter. It flows onward. You may leave places, people, seasons behind, but the journey continues. Like the comet, you carry fragments of where you've been, memories, lessons, scars, joys, and you take them forward into the unknown. And just like the comet, you do not know where your path will lead. But that is not reason for fear. That is reason for wonder. So tonight, as you drift into sleep, think of yourself as a traveler too. You are part of the same endless journey, moving with the Earth around the Sun, with the Sun around the galaxy, with the galaxy itself through expanding space. You are not standing still. You are moving always, endlessly with the stars. And if 3i Atlas can wander billions of years in silence, carrying its story without hurry, then you too can trust your journey. You too can rest, knowing the path continues, infinite and gentle. There is a gentle truth hidden in 3i Atlas. Even when it is gone, it will not truly vanish. Its dust will remain, spread across the solar system, woven into the solar wind. Some grains will drift endlessly, some will burn in Earth's atmosphere as faint streaks of light, and some may merge with other cosmic particles, forming something new. In this way, the comet becomes memory. Think about what that means. Memory is not always held in books or photographs. Sometimes it is held in matter itself. The calcium in your bones remembers ancient stars that forged it in their fiery deaths. The oxygen you breathe remembers the comets that once delivered water to Earth. And the faint glow of meteors in the sky remembers the comets that shed them centuries before. When 3i Atlas departs, it too will leave its memory. Not in words, but in dust. Not in monuments, but in invisible whispers scattered through space. For us, memory works the same. Our lives are brief, but we leave behind pieces of ourselves, small kindnesses, words spoken, glances shared. Others may forget the details, but the essence lingers, just as comet dust lingers in sunlight. To live is to leave memory, even in silence. The comet teaches us this, that endings are never absolute. They are transformations. The comet becomes stardust. We become stories. Both are ways of remembering. So when you next see a meteor flash across the night, pause. It may be a piece of 3i Atlas or a cousin comet, burning brightly for a second before disappearing. But in that second, memory becomes visible. Stardust speaks, and in its glow, you are reminded that nothing truly leaves us. Not stars, not comets, not even people. All become memory, all remain in some form forever. As 3i Atlas fades into interstellar night, the story does not end. It continues in you, because the universe does not speak in words. It speaks in matter, in motion, in wonder, and you, by noticing, by listening, become part of its voice. Without you, the comet is just ice drifting silently. With you, it becomes story, meaning, reflection. The universe needs witnesses, and you are one of them. This is the comet's final gift, the reminder that you are not separate from the cosmos, but one of its storytellers. Your eyes are made of atoms that once burned in stars. Your mind is capable of tracing orbits, of imagining journeys across light years. Your heart is capable of awe, of trembling at the sight of a faint glow in the night. You are not outside the story, you are the story. Every time you wonder about the comet, you continue its tale. Every time you share its existence, you expand its reach. And every time you let its silence soothe you, you allow the universe to write through you. The cosmos is not only in telescopes, observatories, or equations. It is in you right now, listening, breathing, resting. The universe tells its story through you because you are part of it. So as you drift into sleep, let this truth cradle you. 3 Atlas may be leaving, but its story lives in your imagination, your memory, your dreams. The universe wanted you to know it exists, and now you do. The stars, the comets, the galaxies, they are not distant strangers. They are your kin, and through your wonder, their story continues. Good night, listener. The comet drifts onward, and so do you. Both of you threads in the same infinite tapestry, forever telling the universe's quiet, eternal story.